Hello again, YouTube. So I just got off that Route 16. That was the one that was showing nearly an hour late, although when I checked the transit app, and there's a 16 right behind it. So that 16 is more or less on time. Meanwhile, the one in front of it is getting progressively more late because he's the one picking up all the passengers, whereas that other one is just behind, useless. This is, and I've mentioned this before, this is when a bus is so late they need to have a policy that when the bus that's on time is right behind it, the bus in the front just needs to be exiting passengers only and not taking any more passengers, because that's useless. This is a route that runs every 30 minutes. So you got the buses right next to each other. Those buses are supposed to be 30 minutes apart. Insanity. Speaking of insanity, I guess that guy lives here. All right, moving on. It's 3:47 p.m. Friday, April 1st, 2022. So hindsight's always 2020. Probably should have just gone ahead and waited in line for my money orders, because the guy that was behind me in line, who I had chatted with when I was inside the PLS, it was actually at the bus stop when I got on the bus there on the 16, and we chatted on the way down here. Showed him how to use the Valley Metro app, and hopefully he gets that. He was showing me how he used Google Maps to do transit, which I did make pretty extensive use of after trying the actual Hop app, which is the one that's the official transit app for Portland, and also an unofficial one. After trying both of those, I kind of came to the conclusion that Google Maps works better, but Google Maps does not work better than the Valley Metro transit app. That's the one thing Valley Metro seems to mostly be doing right, is their transit app. So anyway, I showed him how to use that and stuff, but he was just marveling, like, how the hell, just sit here all this time, there's no buses, how the hell there's there 3 buses right behind each other? I'm like, yeah. He said he's from New York, and same thing. He said in New York, the buses are always on time because they got their own lanes. I don't know why Phoenix can't seem to figure that out. But, you know, that's a car-centric city for you. So, dang, almost 4 o'clock. Can't believe how much time this is taking. But I mean, I guess I should believe it. I've been, I'm going on over 6 months of not having a car in Phoenix, and well aware of just how tedious sometimes it can be, and how late the buses can be, and how sometimes they just don't show up at all. I'm kind of used to that here. Portland sure spoiled me for a week. Anyway, got the other phone on the hotspot still. So the next 3 eastbound to stop at this stop, scheduled for 3:58 p.m. and it's on time. Whoa, well, maybe it's not on time. It says scheduled 3:58 p.m. and it's 3:50 p.m. But when I click on it, it says live vehicle data currently not available. Which, they were actually showing, when a bus wasn't coming, they were showing canceled. But it seems like they've stopped doing that, and now they're back to just showing the word scheduled. It doesn't say delayed. It doesn't say on time. It just simply says scheduled. So it's 3:50. It should be here in 8 minutes. But when I click on that, it says live vehicle data is currently not available. That bus starts at 70. I forget where the route starts. It shows me here though. That bus starts at 70. Oh, that bus started here. It shows it started at 35th Avenue. That bus started at 35th Avenue. Well, maybe it's on its way to 35th Avenue. I sometimes forget that there's, that the Route 3 is one of the many routes that the buses don't serve the entire route, which seems to be a Phoenix thing. No, I guess I did encounter a little bit of that in Portland, but not much. There was one point where Allison and I, on Monday night, were trying to get a light rail back to where we parked, which was very close to the Alibi Tiki Lounge, and using Google Maps, it showed that there was still another bus. We were over at the I want to say the road, I forget the name of the places, but basically it's where you come over the bridge, and the yellow line goes north, and then you've got the blue line, the red line, and I think it's the green line that all go west. And there's a train platform underneath I-5 for the ones that are heading west, and then there's a train platform right by the Moda Center for the yellow line headed north. And so I looked at it to see when the next one was coming, thinking, okay, well, there's still one more northbound train, we can catch that. And it wasn't until we'd been there, and then we're looking at the screen, because they're unlike our light rail platforms here. Their light rail platforms have screens on them telling you when your trains are going to show up. So you can look up and see how long is my next train. Yeah, they don't have nothing like that here, not on the light rail anyway. I do have that screen at where I wait for the rapid on the I-10 heading to Phoenix, which is crazy. Like, they actually have a screen for that, and that bus just runs a few times a day. But like the light rail, which is the backbone of the transit center here, doesn't have it. Phoenix's transit priorities are just whack. I can't think of any other word to describe it other than whack. So it showed the next train not being, which is kind of confusing. Like, I'm looking, and Google Maps shows that there's going to be a train in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, northbound at the stop that we're at. But the screen at the platform shows there's not going to be another northbound train until like 5 in the morning ish. And I'm thinking, well, that's weird. And so I look a little bit closer. Phoenix Fire Department on their way to somebody. So I look a little bit closer at the Google Maps transit information, and it's the first time I encountered a yellow line train, Max train headed north. Headed north that wasn't going all the way to the last station, the furthest north, which I think is called the Expo Center. It was actually just simply going to whatever the hell the transit station was called that we were standing at in front of the Moda Center. I think they call it Rose something, but I kind of wish they call it Moda Center, because the Moda Center is like a pretty big landmark, and you can see it from the freeway, and you can see it from all the trains that pass through there. But at any rate, I got to the point where I knew that's a stop I was getting very familiar with, riding around in Portland, and yeah, it's like, wow, this train doesn't go all the way. We missed the last train. We ended up walking a portion of the way, and then catching the one bus that was still running, and I forget what route it is, but in typical Portland bus fashion, it went northbound on the street we were walking on. For some ways, like, the northbound was on one street and the southbound was on another street, because the northbound street was a one-way street and the southbound street was a one-way street, and then turned left on a different street, and then turned right on a different street, and then it ended up taking us within about I want to say 4 or 5 blocks of where we were parked. So it worked out all right. Just kind of sucked at the train that they did have a train doing a Phoenix maneuver, where instead of going the entire length of the route, was only going to the point where we were, and Google Maps showed it as arriving there, but it wasn't picking up any passengers there. That was his last stop to depart. So you kind of got to wonder why Google, the transit portion of Google Maps would show that as coming when it's not something you can board. But Anyway, that's at least I know that's how Google works, so I know to watch for that in the future. It's the first time I encountered that. So anyway, I never realized that and I should have understood that since the Van Buren bus doesn't go, like only some of them go east of 32nd Street, I should have realized there would be also a westbound place where only some of them go west of, and that apparently is 35th Avenue. So yeah, the places I go to most often on Van Buren Street are the post office at 48th Street, transferring to the Route 44 at 44th Street, Pack and Store, or U-Store it's called now, at 35th Street. All of those beyond where service is reduced on the east end, and then on the west end to Amazon at 79th Avenue, which is past where the service is reduced there. So yeah, thank you, Phoenix, for not providing service on the entire route, you assholes. All right, still showing scheduled at 3:58. It's 3:57, and it still says live vehicle data currently not available. So I'm expecting that bus is absolutely not going to show up. Now it does show the next one. I don't know if y'all can see this. Probably you can't. It does show the next one estimated to arrive at 4 p.m. It was supposed to arrive at 3:48, and that's headed to the Phoenix Zoo, so it will get me all the way to Pack and Store. So let's see. You know, as much as it annoys me how late the buses are, and they all seem to be running crazy late today, at least when it says delayed, you know, in the app, you know it's actually running, and you can click on it and see where it physically is. I can't tell if that's showing up in the video or not, but it's at 13th Street, so I'm at 16th Street, which means it's going to be here momentarily. So actually, it is right there. So I'm going to wrap this up, hop on that bus, and thanks for coming with me on the walk on what is turning into. Have to be.
What got there?
What up?
Let me see your shirt.
Oh, it's got Jordan Sparks on it.
Oh, it looks good.
It's got Jordan Sparks on it. This is like the only year that somebody from Phoenix made it onto American Idol. Yeah, you remember Jordan Sparks, right?
Right.
Yeah. I'm a karaoke host, so seeing an American Idol shirt like in a Goodwill, it was like, oh, I gotta have an American Idol shirt. Like I sing on a mic every night, you know.
You look good in
And then
that shirt.
thank you.
Yeah.
Dig it, representing Phoenix with the Jordan Sparks.
Oh yeah, why not?
Been waiting for this bus.
Right.
They're running so late today. Do you use the Valley Metro Transit app?
Shit, man.
If you use their app, you can see how late they're running and when
Really?
they're actually running, because some of them aren't even running at all.